All right. Welcome back. Rami Lavi podcast. Another day of doing this, another late night edition. The New York Rangers take game one. Wearing the Chris Kreider jersey, as you see. If you don't see, if you're not watching this, go subscribe on YouTube right now. We're doing these nightly, every single night, a late night recap of what's happening in the world of sports. And in today's episode, we're going to recap a little bit of the whole weekend because we're going to talk about obviously the Rangers, and that's where we start. But we have to hit the baseball teams a little bit and obviously talk about what's going on with the Knicks as they get ready for game two, up 1-0 in the series already. And we talked about them if you missed that episode, recapping how I think the Knicks stole game one, despite being favorites at home in game one. The Knicks stole that game and how that bodes for them moving forward in the rest of the series. So the New York Rangers take game one at home in what was a weird game, a choppy game. I don't know if it was the afternoon start, maybe the early penalties, and I'm sure that played a big factor in it. I mean, you couldn't get a rhythm to the game because of how many early penalties there were in this game. So a lot of different things going on, probably contributing. But then it all breaks with, first of all, before it breaks. So the Rangers, the crowd is pretty much silent, taken out of it. And this is something that we talked about forever, over and over and over again, that Gerard Gallant would just wait and let the game come to them. It's like, well, they have the way they do things. They do things on their own. These guys, I trust them. There's no real system here. And it stunk. And then this year, it's different with Peter Laviolette. He makes a change. He makes a big move. He says, guys, we need to make something happen. He puts Panarin on the top line with Kreider and Zibanejad. It gives the building life. And on the very next shift, he puts him on the ice for the offensive zone faceoff. The very next shift, Rempe and the fourth line are back on the ice. Rempe scores the goal. The building breaks practically. Everyone explodes as Rempe scores. And then 30 seconds later, the Rangers score again. And then a third with Panarin, and then a third time. So the Rangers score three goals right away. And then a little bit of a rush as the Caps try to make it a game. They come back into it. They score a goal. They had a couple of good shots. Igor stands up. That was really the only time Igor had to stand up. The Rangers had as many block shots as the Caps had shots that went through on goal. The Rangers had 21 block shots, and there were 20, and Igor Shesterkin faced 21 shots, which is insane to me. That's an insane number. Some other things from this game also, obviously, before the Kreider breakaway, and I blacked out. I see Kreider streaking up the ice. I see Mika just outlet that pass, and I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. And then Kreider scores, of course, and we all know how that goes. And that's how that GIF was created. I have the picture of it, of him freaking out on the ice and like going nuts as he falls over. I mean, that's just typical Kreider. He goes forehand, backhand, finish it, or backhand to forehand and finishes it. I love that. I love Chris Kreider. Anyone who knows me knows that. And it was just an awesome game. But a bunch of things that happened in this game. First of all, Schneider played on the line with Miller, and both of them looked really good. So you move the captain down basically to the third defensive pairing with Eric Gustafsson. And Gustafsson actually looked like he had a good game, and Trouba didn't have a bad game. Winning faceoffs is going to be huge, something this team struggled with in the past. No more. I mean, Vincent Trocheck winning 70-something% of faceoffs is ridiculous. That's huge for this Rangers team. It's going to be huge for this Ranger team this entire series, this entire postseason. I love that. File that underneath things you love to see. And winning faceoffs is going to be huge, both on the offensive side in the offensive zone, but in the defensive zone on the penalty kill. And speaking of the penalty kill, this team had a focus. This team had a purpose. And Peter Laviolette said it after the game. We know where Ovechkin's going to be sitting on the penalty kill. He's going to be sitting in his office. So make him see bodies. Put people there. Disrupt him in his office. Don't let him get comfortable there. And that was the Rangers' game plan from the start, clearly. And it worked because he was disrupted the entire time. And he had 0 shots on goal. That tells you that this head coach had a plan. Now, that doesn't mean that the Caps won't come back with a counter. There won't be something else in game 2. Sure, there will be. But we had a plan. We had a goal. Here was the plan. Let's make sure he doesn't get comfortable just shooting from the point there. And he wasn't. And if you take away Alex Ovechkin, you really, really neutralize this entire Washington Capitals team. And in a weird way, this game never felt like it was in doubt. It felt like it was Rangers all the way. And the Rangers didn't even play their game. Like it felt like the Rangers never got into their game. Appropriately, the fourth line gets the 3 stars of the game. VZ, Rempe, and Goodrow get the 3 stars. I love that. I love that that's how it played out. I love that whoever decides that stuff decided that, because that was super cool. They deserved it. Those were the guys who carried the team. I thought the third line looked really good. Also at points in this game, Will Cooley looked really good in this game. Capo Caco had a breakaway that he hit the post on. So I thought that looked pretty good for him. There were a lot of things to like, and yet the top 2 lines still didn't look like they were dominant. Artemi Panarin took 7 shots on goal. Mika looked good in the neutral zone, looked good in the defensive zone, didn't look great in the offensive zone. They didn't look great on the power play. They didn't score a power play goal. There were so many things that happened in this game that could have been a lot better. So there's 2 things. We talked about this last year with the Rangers when they played the Devils. Look, they never got into their game, and they went up 2-0 in the series, and they got complacent. This Ranger team is not going to do that. They're up 1-0 in the series, but they still know that they haven't gotten into their game. They haven't done what makes this team successful. And for all the people who talk about they can't score 5-on-5, well, they scored 4 5-on-5 goals. They didn't have a power play goal in this game. They were for 2 on the power play. They shut down. They killed the penalties. That's what you expect. They killed 4 penalties off, which is awesome. That's what you expect from this team. That's what they've been doing all year. And so, look, now's the opportunity. You're up 1-0 in the series, similar to the Knicks. You're up 1-0 without having played your best game yet. Go find your game. Go play your best game and see if you could take a 2-0 chokehold series lead on the Capitals. Igor was Igor. It didn't have to be prime Igor, but he was good enough. Charlie Lindgren, and this is big. This is a guy who shut down the Rangers in the past. Wasn't bad, wasn't awful, but wasn't great. And if the Rangers can figure out Charlie Lindgren, then this series is over for the Caps, because he's not a great goalie. He's a solid goalie and has been really good against the Rangers. But if they can solve him, I don't think the Caps are going to last very long in this series. But it's just one game. It's far from over, and we'll see where it goes from here. Just a couple of cleanup points on the Knicks. Number one, and just I can't reiterate enough, I love Chris Kreider so much. I throw that out there. Give me my little number 20 on my jersey. Chris Kreider, the alternate captain, really the real captain of this team, and scoring that goal at the end was just awesome. All right, to the Knicks for a second. A couple of things I forgot to mention. The Mitchell Robinson free throws at the end, like, my God, those, I mean, made me, again, just, I love Mitchell Robinson. Those Mitchell Robinson free throws at the end of that game when he hits those 2 after they're talking about he's a 41% free throw shooter. We need him to hit a free throw here, and he does. The other thing is, if you are facing against the Knicks in a series, because as a series goes on, you gain tons of animosity for players on the team. Like, I already hate Kyle Lowry. I hated him from last year. I'm going to hate him this year. I know that. Can you imagine being an opponent and having to face Josh Hart? That must be hell. It must suck to go up against Josh Hart. You're like, this freaking idiot is running all over the place. He's throwing the ball to himself. He's making 15 hustle plays. Half the time he's out of control, and he just hits these ridiculous threes at the end of the game. Are you freaking kidding me? Josh Hart's hitting threes to win the game for the other team. That must suck. So that's crazy. By the way, OKC game is on right now. The OKC Thunder game. That atmosphere there is insane. I'm going to watch the end of that after I'm done with this. The Bucks won their game against Indiana. Obviously, Dame went off for the first half, and then Indiana kind of cut into it. Some coaching decisions don't make sense. Like, how is Jalen Brunson seeing a double, triple team and getting bumped on every single possession? They're denying him the ball. They're picking him up 90 feet down the court. And yet, Dame Lillard, who's the only option on this Bucks team right now without Giannis, can do whatever he wants, is being defended one-on-one, and guys are going under screens on him. Like, it makes no sense. Like, and Rick Carlisle's not a stupid coach. I don't understand it. That's that. That's just some NBA cleanup. Now to the baseball and to the New York Mets. Let's start with them, because the Mets, I mean, they continue to win series. They had won 6 in a row before losing in game 3 on Sunday of the 3-game set against the Dodgers, but they win the first 2 games. Carlos Mendoza again showing that he's a good manager, bringing Diaz in the 8th and not bringing him back out for the 9th, because Garrett Reed, or whatever his name is, has been insane. So he pitches the 9th, but yeah, you bring in your reliever in the biggest spot. When your best reliever, you bring him in the biggest spot when you need him most. Now, the Mets bullpen is getting a little weaker because they had to put my guy, friend of mine, Brooks Raley, on the 15-day IL. And so it sucks for him. And it's sad for me personally to see him go down, but also for the Mets. He's a really big key part of this left-hander out of the bullpen. Really good. So hopefully he comes back soon. The bigger story for the Mets as far as injuries is Francisco Alvarez, who could be out as long as 2 months with a torn ligament, and that sucks. That really sucks because he was a key cog and he had such a good start to the season. Now, the good news is that means this guy's probably back by the All-Star break, and you can survive till the All-Star break without a catcher who's a really good hitter. I understand that it sucks, but the Mets are going to try and find some sort of consistency, or not even consistency, but any kind of production out of that spot of the lineup. That would be helpful. But as far as everything else for the Mets, you win a series in LA, you beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. I mean, come on. This is one of the best teams in the National League. Going from 0-5 to being one of the best teams in the National League is just, it's insane. That to think where the Mets were a couple of weeks ago to where the Mets are today is, I mean, it's night and day. It's two completely different teams, and you have to feel good about where you are if you're the Mets. Starling Marte has been awesome. If Pete can continue to turn it on, if Lindor can turn it on a little bit more, McNeil, and hopefully JD Martinez at some point shows up, and Kodai Senga too. And this team, you got to think this could be a really fun summer. I keep saying it, but I believe it. Everything is pointing in a positive direction for the New York Mets, and this was an incredible series. The one thing about losing 10-0 on Sunday is that the last time the Mets lost a game by 10 runs on Sunday, April 21st in LA was in 1994. Yes, that's true. I looked it up because I thought this was fake. I saw somebody tweeted this out. I'm like, there's no way this is true. April 21st, 1994, the Mets lost a game in LA 13-3, lost by 10 runs in LA on April 21st, 1994. So the comparisons, the Rangers go up 1-0 in the series, the Knicks go up 1-0 in the series. The Garden is on fire. OJ's dead and in the news, and then the Mets are also losing. So keep the 1994 comparisons going because it feels like 1994 around here again. Wearing the Rangers jersey, obsessed with what the Knicks are doing. Can't wait for game 2 on Monday. All right, to the Yankees. The Yankees had to get right after losing a series. They take a rubber match on Sunday. A little nervous times from the bullpen. Aaron Judge, and maybe we'll talk about this a little bit as the week goes on. If you're not concerned about Aaron Judge yet, you're blind. You're just you're just telling yourself that he's okay because he's been so good forever. But if you're not nervous about him, I'm not sure what you're watching. You have to start to get a little bit nervous about Aaron Judge, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. But the Yankees as a whole, it doesn't matter. They keep rolling. So I still think they need someone else in that lineup. I really do think so. I don't know if that's Dominguez when he comes back, if there's a trade out there that they make. I'm not sold on Anthony Rizzo at this point. There feels like they're a piece short in that lineup. And Stanton's been good. Judge has been terrible, and maybe it's because Judge has been so bad. But even with Judge, if you think the lineup goes Volpe, who's, by the way, struggled since moving up to the leadoff spot, but I still think it's the right decision. Get him in that leadoff spot as much as possible. And because I think ultimately your lineup is at his best when he's in that leadoff spot. So I keep him there and let him figure it out. So if it's Volpe at the top and then Soto and then Judge, Stanton doesn't feel like the best next option for 4. It feels like if they could lengthen that by 1, and even if it is Dominguez ultimately, but if you can make that 1 spot longer, and then you put Stanton and Rizzo and all those guys, it just makes the lineup feel a lot longer. But hey, they're winning games. Luis Gil again, 9 strikeouts and 5 2/3 innings was ridiculous again. So good for him. He's been a little bit up and down, but when he's on, he is so good. Easy 93, and then some breaking stuff. And of course, they honored John Sterling over the weekend. That was everything it should have been. And then them playing ball game over, Yankees win, the Yankees win on the loudspeaker after Sunday's win. Hopefully they do it after every game. They really should before they play Frank Sinatra. So great stuff. Great job by the Yankees. And to come back and win a series after losing their first series of the year in Toronto, they've won 3 of their last 4 again, and they stay hot. So I can't complain too much about the Yankees. I did make a joke on social media that the Yankees didn't score any runs because they were trying to get out quickly so that they could make it to the Knicks game in time on Saturday. I did make that joke because I saw all the Yankees were there. But I love it. I love seeing Juan Soto wearing a Artemi Panarin jersey today. I love seeing him at the Garden to see what playoff baseball or playoff basketball looks like in New York, to see how exciting it's going to be. And there's a love affair. I mean, what he did Friday night when he's getting big hits and then he's running out to the outfield and the place is going nuts for him. It's been an awesome experience so far, just under a month into the season, but it's been an awesome experience with Juan Soto so far. We'll see where it goes. So that's the weekend recap. The Yankees are going to be playing, I think they're playing host to Oakland. So that should be a pretty easy matchup. And the Mets are going to be playing against San Francisco in the Bay. So check out all that coming up this week. I'll probably maybe have time for a preview tomorrow, maybe not. with Passover and everything coming up. There's a lot of stuff going on this week. So hopefully I'll be back soon talking to you guys, talking sports with you guys again. But until then, I don't know when that is. Hopefully tomorrow. Like, subscribe, share the podcast with everyone you know, because it keeps getting better, I feel like. And I can't wait to keep talking sports with you guys. Great weekend for New York sports. Hopefully it continues. The only team that had a negative weekend was the Islanders. So down 1-0 in the series to Carolina, but this is going to be a long series. I don't think this is going to be a short sweep on either side. I know how good Carolina is, but these two teams play a similar style of hockey. I think the Islanders will be in this series till the end. I think the Islanders have a chance, maybe not to win the series, but to take it 6-7 games, and I wouldn't put it past them to win it. So let's go Knicks, let's go Rangers, let's go Islanders, let's go Mets, let's go Yankees. It's a fun time to be a New York sports fan. And we got the drafts coming up later this week in Detroit with the Jets and the Giants. So we'll hit on that before the draft, obviously, whether it's JJ McCarthy going to the Giants, whether it's the Jets drafting Brock Bowers or something else at 10. We'll see what they do. The Jets posted a video of Aaron Rodgers throwing a football to Garrett Wilson today. Chef kiss. It was incredible. All right, what a time to be alive. Happy to be here. Rami Lavi again, enjoying this time with you guys. And again, you guys should leave comments and email me or somehow just DM me, ask me questions that you want me to talk about on the show, topics you want me to talk about on the show. I'm excited to do it. You know how to find me. So until next time, like I said, please like, subscribe, share it, 5-star review on all your platforms. See ya.